going on, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of FlagPlus Football's First and Goal podcast. I'm your host, Brent Bodkin.
And I'm Quaysie Maule.
All right, let's hop into it. A lot of action going on right now in the final stretch run of the regular season. Most divisions right now are in week 9. So again, like playoffs are around the corner, right? So a lot of things are going on in women's and men's, 5v5, 6v6, co-ed. Any division you can think of right now. Pretty much the action is heating up. So let's hop into it. Division A, what do you got to talk about?
Yeah, so Division A, one stop. One stop right now is 6-1. Again, there's only 5 people. There's only 5 teams in the division, but like the fact that one stop's kind of like from having a season. I think last season they went 3-7. They're kind of struggling, and then all of a sudden now they're 6-1. Points for 231, points against 171. I feel like everything's kind of clicking with them. So that's like a good thing. Good thing to see. For a team like that. And then you have the casual Braves that are right now they're on the top of the seedings. They're 6-2, so nothing really to talk about. Braves doing brave things. And then one thing that's kind of interesting to see Vultures right now. Vultures are 1-5-1. Vultures is a team that literally led the division. I think I think they were the 1 seed, and last winter I think they finished the 1 seed, and they ended up playing Braves in the semis where technically they should have won that game. Ben kind of just I don't know. I would say a brain fart where they end up losing and then Braves end up winning. But it's like weird to see a team that did so well last season do like so bad this season. They're 1-5-1. I know their roster's not the same. I know they're missing a couple players here or there, but there's only 5 teams in this division. So it's like, yeah, you're missing players, but there's so many players you could ask to sub or get guys on your team. If you're coming into the season where you're struggling and not having enough subs, whatever, you could get guys fully on board. Guys want to play, especially guys that like it's almost during the football season for university and stuff like that and college, but guys are still trying to get workout. Like you could get guys to come sub in and they're decent guys, So the fact that they're losing games versus Fins Up, Easy W, and One Stop, like those are games where I expected them to like at least win, but now they're not winning. But it is a roster issue. But I feel like they should have a decent roster, especially like It's like it's like it sucks to see them doing so well one season in the winter, which winter is like the hardest, and then coming into the fall and doing so horrible at 1-5-1.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're a good team, but like talked about, right? Like missing a couple of players in that, and just like consistently inconsistent. I think is their biggest issue right now. But again, I mean, getting to the dance is what it's all about, and playoffs are around the corner, right? So let's see what they can do.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone makes playoffs too, something I
Yeah.
extremely hate. But at the end of the day, you're exactly right. Playoff when it comes to playoffs, that's where it kind of matters, especially that everyone makes it. You have nothing to worry about. They're probably going to finish the 5th seed. Fins Up looks like they're probably going to take the 4th seed. So we're going to have a 4 and 5 matchup, and then we're going to see what happens. Maybe they end up winning here, and then you get to see a Vultures versus Braves kind of rematch in the semifinals. The same thing as winter. But yeah, so I think that's it for Division A for me.
Okay.
I would like
You went off Division B.
so Division B. Division B very interesting, right? We kind of talked about it, and we were kind of saying I'm like No Regard end up playing Ice Pack, and were kind of saying if No Regard loses that game, like they're out, as top 3, the bottom 3 teams do not make playoffs. So I was actually at that game around the ending of it, and Sanders, everyone knows Sanders. Sanders kind of had a crash out because they ended up losing that game, but he was telling me that they could have won, and pretty much like it's so unfortunate for No Regard because they go into Division B. You're expecting to do way better than they do in Division A, and then all of a sudden they're 1-7. They have 2 games left, and their games it's not easy matchups. I don't want to say, like, at this point, you guys lost versus Ice Pack. I think that's, like, the most struggling team. They're playing Speed Academy. That's a very powerhouse offense. And then you're playing KGP Dynasty, where the chemistry with these guys are very good. And if you're having a bad day, they are going to take advantage of you.
Yeah, 100%. So actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I was talking. So yesterday, I saw you obviously I was playing in Brasarda as you were last night, and I had a chance to chat quickly with the quarterback for Ice Pack, obviously Alex Zalipsky, who's been on the show before, and he said it himself about their win over Ice Pack. He's like, listen, it's a tough game. It was close. Obviously, he's like, they had us on the ropes. We were going back and forth, and he goes, yeah, he told me, he goes, they made a bunch of mistakes and they started losing their cool, as is pretty much common with no regard, no matter who it is.
Mhm.
Unfortunately for this talented team, and he goes, "Yeah, but we found a way to beat them." And he goes, "They were talking a bit of trash, and I know he was playfully talking some trash. I think even with Sanders and that, but he goes, yeah, we found a way to win, and credit to them because, like you said, it was a tight game. And Ice Pack, I gotta say, out of all the teams that I rate for Division B, out of all the teams in Division B, I think they're the least talented team. And that's not to throw any shade because there are some really talented players on that team. But when you go roster through roster, right, they have the least amount of like high division talent on the roster. But credit to them. Listen, they're 3-5 right now. Like you said, they knocked off another guard. I saw the game week before that where they knocked off Speed Academy and they lost by 4 to Caffeine Saw Bhutan, right? So obviously not how you want to end your winning streak there.
Mhm.
And even before that, I score kept their game in Brassard a while, the middle of June, so it seems like ages ago, where they beat KGP Dynasty, right? So coming into their loss this past Sunday against Camping Saint Boutte, Icepack have won 3 in a row, right? So they're one of the most dangerous teams in the division right now, right? You look at the standings, so they're in ninth right
Mhm.
now, right? Obviously, only the top 8 teams make the playoffs, but they're in ninth, so that loss actually was kind of big to Camping Sambute because now they're tied with points with Camping Sambute, but because of the loss to Camping Sambute,
Tiebreaker.
Camping Sambute, saying that a lot of
Yeah.
times, they have the tiebreaker over Ice Pack, right? So, and also for Ice Pack, they only have 2 games left. For Camping Sambute has 4. So I mean,
Mhm.
getting into the playoffs is going to be hard, but if someone could do it, I think it might be Ice Pack because they're a dangerous team. They could beat anybody.
Yeah, no, I like their team, but exactly you're kind of saying their rosters. I guess we would say the weakest. They finished their schedule with FPF Most Wanted and Hard Eight, right? So that's my team, and then FPF. That's they played us last game, and then FPF Most Wanted is also a very talented team. So it's not going to be easy for them. They're definitely going to have to win at least one more game, and then hope maybe for like a four-way tie
Yeah.
with Speed Academy, Bruins, and at that point, but it's also they have 336 points again, so they could probably get the end of the stick in that situation there. So they're probably gonna have to win out, to be honest with you. And then you have KGP Dynasty, where again they're 2-4, but they also have 4 games left where they play Bruins, No Regard, Kamabute, and Silent Ticklers. So like even for them, you can't really count them out. The only team that unfortunately their season's over is No Regard. Even if they win the last 2 games, they're still not going to have enough game. They're still not going to be able to make that push into the 8th seed. And then if they end up, everyone ends up losing. It comes to a point where someone's going to have that to win, and they're going to have 4 wins, and Oregon only have 3, and then their points against is also horrible. So for them, it's not the greatest situation. Um, Regarding the kind of like the higher teams right now, is you have Idaho U Pimps, which they're having a great season. Then you have Hard Eight, FPS Moana, the Pizzica Hut, Silent Ticklers, Bruins, Speed Academy, and Capite. Would you say you're kind of surprised of how the seedings are right now, or you would say like everything's kind of balanced and you kind of were expecting around most of these um, standings records?
No, I'm a little surprised. I thought Captain Sambutan would finish at the very worst top 4
Mhm.
in the standings here. I mean, right now, again, like I said, they're in the eighth and final spot with a 3-3 record. And they have 4 games remaining, like you said, right? So they can actually finish in the top 4, even top 3, if they start stacking some more wins together. But to see them at this late in the season at eighth, I'm surprised. The Bruins, I find the Bruins again on paper one of the most talented teams. The quarterback Rocco Cristiano actually came to play for my team last night, thanks to him. Talented quarterback. I think out of all the quarterbacks, he might be the most talented in the entire division. But again, they either start hot and finish off awful, or they start awful and they finish hot. They're consistently inconsistent one half of the season, as we saw last year, right? In the winter season.
Mhm.
I'm not totally surprised that they're 4-4. Again, 2 games left. They could definitely finish 2 games over 500 or 2 games under. Le Petit Carrots, no. I think right now they're a talented squad, but they're kind of newish to Division B, so I think they're exactly where they need to be. FES Most Wanted, they're in third Again, there's like a glut of teams tied with 8 points, right? There's
Yeah,
one, two, three, four, five, 6 teams. Technically, right now they're in third. I'm a little surprised at that because again, they've been a 5v5 team the last couple of years. I think the last time they were 6v6, they were in Division C, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm a little surprised at that. Idaho, you the Pimps, no. Your team, Hard Eight, no. You guys should be at the top of the standings. KGP, KGP, either they're really bad or they find a way to sneak in towards the end of the season because they always have games in hand. They always get kind of screwed up by the schedule where
yeah.
they don't have a lot of games early, then they have a lot of games late, and it becomes like a dash to the finish line. They can usually do it or not. They usually more often than not, I think they do. No regard. I mean, like you said, I'm surprised too dropping now into this low, pardon me, to Division B that they're doing this bad in the standings. I don't necessarily think I had them as definitely not a top four, top five seed, but I definitely did have them making the playoffs with the roster that they have.
So you play with Sanders. He's your quarterback for Commission Division C. Let's just pretend we have two Sanders, right? Let's say there's two Sanders. He has a clone twin brother, exactly the same builds and everything. Do you think if let's just say we drop,
Sanders.
yeah, Sanders. So let's just say we drop no regard in Division C this season. So they start Division C. How
Yeah.
how do you think they would have performed in Division C?
Interesting. A lot of well, not a lot, but some of the players, like obviously Sanders plays in Division C. Tristan Boye, I played against him a few weeks ago with I think the Big Fat Bats. I played against him a lot actually the last couple of years in Division C. Uh, Kendall has played Division C before. My boy Terry, I don't think Terry's actually played Division C. Anyways, to answer your question, I think they would be in the top five for sure. But top four, you know, I didn't even say top four. I can tell you for right now from playing in Division C this season, they would have probably one of, if not the most athletic roster. I know we were playing last night against the Hustlers with Isaiah Lard, and I can't lie to you, that team was fast. At least offensively, like they scored on the first couple of drives on us until we figured it out. We shut them down in the second half, but that team is fast and athletic, and I think it's a lot of the same for this squad here with no regard. I like your question though. Honestly, like I'm looking at the standings right now, and I'm thinking, okay, where would they finish? I think they definitely would beat like Uncle Rico Riders, Cast of 12, The Innocents, Big Fat Bats, Ball So Hard. Like all the teams that are struggling right now in Division C, no regard would be better than them. I think no regard would finish. I call the Peckers KGP squad light. Because some guys have played on the KGP squad before. I think they would so right now they're in fifth. I think no regard would probably finish fourth or fifth. Actually, you know what? I would say third or fourth because they'd be better than Mengoose. And I think they would be evenly matched with Jagerbomb. Jagerbom's a good team with a lot of chemistry,
Veterans, yeah.
but yeah, the third or fourth, I think, and Novogratz would be in Division C.
Mhm. So since we're kind of talking this Division C, I might as well jump into it just a bit since it's your division, and
Sure.
I can kind of touch like I kind of pick your brain a bit. Um, the commission, you guys are 8-1. You guys are having a great season. You guys are having a great season. I know you guys dropped one game. What was it 2 weeks ago? You
Yeah,
guys
Uncle
lost
Rico
first.
Riders. That was about
Yeah.
God,
Uh,
sometime in June. Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So I was talking to Sanders. Sanders was kind of saying he was upset about it because he's like, that's a game that could have been won. And so you guys lost 25-13. And he kind of was saying, like, oh, it would have been nice to have a perfect season, 10-0. Um,
for sure.
how do you feel since you already have the one loss, right? And you have one game left. Your last game you're gonna be playing versus the Beer Belly Brigade. So you guys are kind of playing for that number one seed spot.
Yeah,
I would
exactly. Yeah,
say, right?
yeah.
If you guys win, you guys give them the loss, and you guys get the tiebreak on them. And if Juggerbomb will also get no, you guys actually that's for the number one seed spot, which is kind of interesting to see how you have the top two teams that are playing versus each other in the last game of your last game of the season for them. They're also going to have in their game. But it's kind of interesting to see that one of those teams are going to have be playing for that number one seed. How do you feel going into this game? Even though I mean, your season, it's going to be August 8th. So
I can say yeah, it's a while from now.
you guys have a
Yeah.
pretty big break. I would say about like 3 weeks before you play your next game. How do you feel what's the vibe right now?
So a couple of things. So the vibe is good. Obviously, we had a big win last night over, like I said, the Hustlers. We put up I want to say 50, yeah, 58 points. We scored the last touchdown. Last play of the game was a touchdown for us. The referee waved off the conversion. We're not going to rub their faces in it. They're a good team, the Hustlers. And they have a lot of speed. Isaiah Lars on that team. A lot of other guys who can really make plays. They had a lot of drops offensively from Isaiah and from some other players. And then there's the quarterback, Felix Gerin Lajoie. Good quarterback. It's just some of the picks he threw, like he was throwing the ball up. Sometimes the ball either hung up in the air too long, or he was throwing the guys that weren't open, and we took advantage of that.
Mm.
But like Tristan Tessier and those guys, Jean Hughes, Lefebvre, they have speed on that team. Gabriel Lemon as well. I've seen him in co-ed before. They have a lot of speed. Um, yeah, I think we're doing all right. Going to what you said before, so actually Beer Belly Brigade against us, that's their final regular season game as well.
Okay,
Because so,
I
so
see them at 8-1, at 8-0. I don't wonder. No, they have two more games. They play Jugger Bomb
they play Jaeger Bomb. They play Jaeger Bomb.
August 3rd.
I was just looking at the schedule. So yeah, so it's funny how the schedule actually the way it works towards the end, not the breaks. The breaks are horrible. I don't want like 3 weeks off, but whatever. The way the schedule in terms of matchups has gone the last couple of weeks is actually pretty good. We play Jaeger Bomb on Sunday at Laval. We beat them. We beat them, I think 30, I think 32-30, I want to say, something like that. We beat Jagerbomb 31-26. So that
Yeah.
game, for me personally, and like two guys on my team, it was nice because they knocked us out of the playoffs last year. I've said this on the show multiple times. And the last couple of times we faced them, they beat us. And credit to that team, they're a veteran team, a lot of good guys.
Mm.
But yeah, we beat them. In the second half, we shut them down. I think they scored one touchdown in the second half. We got some INTs. That was a really good team victory. And then 2 days later, like I said, we beat the Hustlers. So again, to answer your question, the vibe is really good. Obviously, do we want to beat Beer Belly Brigade? Yeah, we do. We want to have the first place in the division. But at the same time, I personally, I was saying this to one of the guys on my team last night. I don't really care where we finish in the standings. The regular season means nothing to me from that perspective, besides just getting ready for the playoffs. I want to get into the play. Obviously, we're in the playoffs 100%, but I want to get in there and win a championship. That's why I play. I play to
Mm.
have fun with my guys, and I play to win because I hate losing. I don't care if we finish eighth or we finish first. The goal never changes every year. But the fact that right now we've won five in a row, they're in the top spot, and rightfully so. They have a really stifling defense that we're gonna have to get ready for in 2 weeks. And yeah, I mean, if we beat them, great. That's the game plan. But if we don't, all right, we'll take that lick, and then we'll head into the playoffs even more motivated to prove why I think we're the best team in Division C.
Mm-hmm. We're kind of talking about the Hustlers as you're just talking about Sanders. I think he threw 9 touchdowns. I know exactly what he posted online, posted his stats. He threw 9. I remember seeing 9 touchdowns. And I was like, whoa! So he also had a great game. If you're gonna choose a dark horse in the division, not naming the big teams, so Belly Brigade, and of course yourself, Juggerbomb. Let's take a Mongoose off and Peckers and Hustlers. Who do you think out of the other teams would be a dark horse? Because again, in playoffs, the thing is only 8 teams make it, so you still have Cast of 12, Linsons. Those are, I think, are the two other teams. I think that Big Fat Bats and Baltimore University that run their seasons are over. So you kind of have All Blacks, Uncle Rico Riders, Cast of 12, and Lay Innocents. Out of those 4 teams, which one would you consider a dark horse team?
I would say I'm torn on this one. I want to say the All Blacks just because honestly, I've never played this team before. I
Okay.
recognize some names like on their roster, like Sam Lachance. I've seen him play Felix Houdon, Gab Couture, so some guys obviously from like the merge and all that with Marc Andre Reeves. But there's not too many guys I've really taken the field against from the squad. So for me, that's kind of the definition of a dark horse. I will also give some credit to. Now, I don't want to throw any shade on Uncle Rico Riders. They beat us. That's the only thing that beat us. We played like trash. We played like hot garbage in that game, and they deserve to beat us. Both sides of the ball, we made too many mistakes, and they beat us, and rightfully so. But I want to say Cast of 12 because when we played Cast of 12, we played, I think that was our first game of the year because we were supposed to play the Packers and they had to forfeit that game. So in that game, with Cast of 12, I believe it's Guillaume Boulanger is a regular quarterback. He's a guy I talked about last season. He's like a big guy as a snapper, but he could throw the ball. He could dish it out there. I want to say Theo Cleach was their quarterback, who's a guy, I'm not gonna lie, a guy was trying to get onto my team and he was kind of agreed to in the last second. He said those are his boys, so he agreed to go for his boys, which no harm, no
Yeah.
foul.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, they beat us. No, sorry, we beat them, but it was close. Like we had I made a pick near the goal line. We had another defensive stop late. It was also our first game of the season, so we made some mistakes. But I would say like cast of 12, they have size and they have athletes. Philip Barros is one of the receivers. Steel Cleach when he's not throwing and doing whatever. Like he's a good receiver, good two-way player. That's a team if they can have their whole roster show up for the playoffs. I think everyone that's supposed to be a starter is eligible. They could definitely make some noise.
I bet it's a team that they were in Division 4B last year. I think they were in 4 last year. So for them to jump into C, the big jump for them. They're playing new teams. A lot of a lot of teams like you guys, Big Gig, Commission, and then so on. I'm kind of blank on the teams, but yeah, they're a very big team because I remember I watched them play, and I'm like, these guys are big, they're athletic, they're physical. They're the team. They're a team that they kind of just stick together, and they kind of just every single season they're going to get better and better and better, and they're going to become one of those teams that you're not going to see them kind of struggling at the bottom. You're going to see them kind of more at the top, where they're like 7-3, they end 8-2, and you're just like, where are these guys coming from? And then you realize they grinded from the bottom and they started getting back to the top.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Actually, my bad. It was Jean-Christophe Ferland, the rusher, who was playing quarterback, not Theo. My bad. My apologies.
So that's it. I think that's it for Division C. I just want to jump into Division A. Sorry, Women's A. So again,
Sure.
Women's A. It's kind of, again, we don't have the powerhouse this year. We don't have the Sub Zero. We don't have I'm blanking the name, Matrix. You kind of have a we kind of have a mix with Purple Heat, which is kind of I think it's a mixture of I'm blanking the two names now. Yeah, it's a mixture of Cayenne and Matrix, so like the purple and the reddish. So they call it Purple Heat. But then we have the new team, right? We were kind of talking about the Knicks. How we kind of want to know how they're going to do this season. Right now, it looks like they're pretty dominating. They're 5-1. They only lost
Yep.
one game in the season, and I want to say that was against. They dropped it versus Purple Heat. So again, a veteran team, a lot of talent on that team. So that's what they dropped. And then they end up after that drop, they end up playing the Birds just recently. And they won that game 20-13. So a lot of defensive game, and they end up coming up top 20-13. Are you? I know we kind of talked about it a bit. Are you surprised that right now the Knicks are leading division at 5-1?
No, I mean, you got to look at his roster, right? I mean, the Knicks, I mean, they have a lot of big time players on their roster, right? I mean, you look at, okay, so you look at the quarterback, right? Athena Ryan, she's a veteran quarterback. And right now, Athena can make the argument like in FPF now without no Sarah Parker, Sandrine Gobet-Hewitt. Athena Ryan, I think, is the best female quarterback right now in all of FPF, and I don't think it's a stretch to say that. But then you look, right? They have Anouk Benalil. So Anouk Benalil actually filled in as quarterback in their last game, right? They beat the
Birds.
Birds on
Yeah.
Sunday 20-13. Athena wasn't there. Anouk Benalil was a fantastic receiver, one of the top receivers, period, in FPF. She played quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
She threw three INTs, but she also threw three touchdown passes in the 20-13 win. You go down the rest of this roster, right? Who do they have? They have Lara Uzoka. They have Delphine Burrell. The Chloe Samar. She's a veteran as well, right? And they've had some other players who stepped in, like Ashley Longin, Maria Manseri, Leah Bigra, right? They have talent up and down this roster, whether they're permanent players or semi part time players. So I'm not that surprised because everyone on this team is pretty much a baller for the most part. So they have the best team. Should have the best record.
Yeah, especially coming with a backup quarterback and winning that game versus the Birds. Because again, Birds is a very good team too, right? It's a kind of mixture of a lot of girls as well too from Concordia, and you have some girls from I want to say UCAM as well too. They kind of just did a mixture. Kind of a lot of teams do, when you don't have your core team or your school team that wants to make a team or your club team, you just like, okay, well, I know this girl, she knows this girl, and you kind of just assemble and you make a team. Kind of what the Sparks did, but for them, unfortunately for them, they don't have their quarterback situation wasn't the best, and that's the reason why they're 1-6. To go on the kind of touch base with Athena, she ended up there was a tournament in Sherbrooke last weekend where she ended up hurting her hand the first game, so that's kind of the reason why she did not play that game. I don't know how severe it is. She looked fine when she was kind of there. She was kind of chilling in the tent with a bunch of other teams, but she did end up hurting her hand. So I don't know how long she's going to be out for, but hopefully it's not for that long, and she's going to be able to come back and finish the season strong. Um, going towards playoff in this division, right? Just the breakdown. So there is 1 and 2 seeds get by, and then it goes 3 seed versus 4 seed. I want to say Knicks is going to get the number 1 bye, and then you're going to get the Birds. Do you think it's going to affect anything if you don't get the bye, or at the end of the day you're going to play who you play? Because I mean, like, getting the bye, you could probably get an easier matchup compared to not getting the bye, where you kind of have to play a powerhouse team. So if you're the 2 seed, 3 and 6 will play a 4 or 5. You could probably maybe play Chaos in the semis, like, instead of playing the Knicks or some reason, or the Birds. Like, you could avoid a semifinal matchup where you have to play one of the top. Because I think right now, I think the top 3 teams is Knicks, Birds, and Purple Heat. So if you end up getting that bye, you could avoid end up playing that team, right? And well, I would say more than 1 seed, so you could avoid the 3rd seed.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you want to try to avoid the top seed as much as you can, but I mean, then again, like you also were saying, right? You're gonna play who you're gonna play, and eventually, when you get to the playoffs, you're gonna have to play the good teams anyways, right? So I mean, and I think you know that, right? So I mean, yeah, would you want to avoid playing the Knicks in the semifinals? Yeah, of course you would. But even with that, right? So let's say right now, the playoffs started today, it'd be Purple Heat, Sparks, and Blue Power versus Chaos. I mean, Chaos right now is struggling with a 2-5 record, but that's the one team who you could trust come playoff time, at least make the semis, right?
Yeah,
And to probably make the championship game, right? And with all that veteran experience and talent they have on the team. So you may not necessarily want to be playing them in the first round if you're blue powered either, right? But again, you have to wait and see what happens with the final standings. Purple Heat, obviously a dangerous team as well. So if you're the Sparks, you want to try to avoid that. You want to see if you can get up to that 5th seed and get out of the 6th and maybe have Chaos drop down. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But blue powered right now, I gotta say, is in the driver's seat, right? They have 6 points. They're in 4th. They're 2 behind Purple Heat. Blue Power only has 5 games played, right? So they have five. They have the most games in hand on everybody else, right? So I mean, Blue Power, they conceivably they have a chance if they can win out or win and get a little bit of help. They could finish as high as second. They could technically finish first, but let's be honest here, they're not going to. But they could finish at least second place in this division, and they can get the first round bye. Because again, the buys are great if you have some banged up players. Trust me, my team knows about that right now. And the only time the buy is a bad thing if it takes you out of your momentum. But I mean, I'd rather get a little bit of rest and work on some things if you can during that week off, and then see who you play in the playoffs in the second round.
yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense indeed. I mean, I'm again, like we kind of always say that, I'm kind of interested to see how when playoffs do start, but when playoffs do start, to see who's going to be playing who. I think the
Yeah.
semifinal matchup's going to be very interesting, just to see if Knicks kind of hold that 1 seed. Because if they hold the 1 seed, then they'll play the 4 seed or whatever. If there's upset, they'll play the bottom seed. But like that number 2 seed, Birds versus Purple Heat, or again, if for some reason it switches, that's going to be a very interesting matchup to see who's going to be playing who. In
I will
that.
say quickly. So I remember we were talking before, obviously, about and been a little playing quarterback. I will also say, I believe it's Rosalie Major is a quarterback for the Birds. No, sorry, Clarence Michel is a regular quarterback for the Birds. She was also missing from that game. That's why Petrone had to fill in a quarterback. So a battle of two fantastic receivers playing quarterback in that Knicks versus Birds matchup this past Sunday.
Mhm.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah. All right. I know you got to take off any minute. Is there anything else you want to get into before you leave, or you're good?
No, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to kind of touch base with that, and yeah,
Okay. Okay. All right, man. So Quaysie's gonna sign off here. I believe I will see you maybe Saturday. I think. Am I Concordia on Saturday? Will you
yeah,
gonna be
I'm gonna
there?
be
Or?
on Saturday. Yeah, I have 2 games on Saturday. But it's actually it doesn't make sense. I have a game at 1 p.m. and then a game at 6 p.m. It's like, yeah, it's not gonna be fun, but whatever. It is what it is.
Oh, you know what?
Hopefully,
Sorry, I want to bust your balls on one thing before you leave here. So I know you gotta go. So I was watching, I was scorekeeping your game last night with Lego My Flag against the mismatch. So congrats to you guys on that W. That was actually a really exciting game. I went back and forth for you guys with the 32-30 win over mismatch. But I gotta say, so I know Ali Reza, you didn't see this, but I think our man Quaysie got mossed a little bit there
Yeah,
on a
yes,
touchdown.
yes. That's what I wanted to actually talk about. Joyce. I don't know. I remember her last name, Joyce. Yeah,
I'll get it for you. I get it for you. I have it right here. It was Joyce Genius or
yeah. So
Genius.
yeah, she's a player. Like to be honest, I watched her
Hmm.
play when Montreal first made their team when they're kind of doing when women's flag was kind of starting to get
Yeah.
starting whatever. So she played for University of Montreal, and I remember watching her play, and she was super good. And then I guess she kind of graduated, and then she kind of stopped playing for a bit, and then now she's back. But no, she made an insane catch. To be honest with you, there's only I have to say there's two women that have done that to me. One was Gigi a couple weeks ago and literally was around the same catch. The ball was thrown. I thought it was gonna be a bit underthrown, so I was kind of going. I was going behind it like as a punt return, and then Gigi
Hmm.
literally jumped up, made the catch, and I was right under her. And then just yesterday, same exact thing. We are playing a 3-5, and I knew the way Alex likes to kind of throw the ball, he likes to look one way and throw the other way. So I saw a post and I saw it go, and I knew it right away. I knew I was looking, I was trying to squeeze both of them inside, and I was like, okay, no, he's going for the go. So I turned my shoulders and I actually got there, but I thought the ball was gonna go overthrown. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get a pick back shoulder. And it wasn't. She just kind of just jumped up. She caught it. I just like I'm a player. If you make a good play on me, I'm not gonna be like grumpy about it. No, I was just like, you have to give. I was like, yo, that was a really good catch, because you don't see it as often, especially for a woman to make like a big play like that. But no, she definitely it was definitely a head top. It was a great catch. Like, yeah,
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So shout out to Joyce on that catch. Again, a great game, man. You guys had a good defensive stand there. You stopped them on fourth down. Like you talked about, Alex, like kind of like looking one way and throwing the other. He tried to do that on the last play of the game. Just it was a bad pass. But yeah, really entertaining game. You guys were down. You guys came back, and yeah, it's good getting to watch. Good getting to the
yeah.
scorekeep for
Well, it's
sure.
a win we definitely needed, right? I think we're 2-6, so we've been kind of struggling on finishing. So it's nice to kind of get one out, actually finishing for once, and getting a win, especially especially that playoffs are coming up. I'd rather start winning games now than start losing them now, right? So even though we haven't been winning much, we got to get something going.
Yeah, you guys are 2-5 right now. You guys have a big game. So not this Saturday, the Saturday after. I might be scorekeeping that game against Les Woos.
Yeah, it should be a good game as well too. But yeah.
For sure, for sure.
All right,
All right,
I'm
man.
gonna.
Let's go out of here. I know you got some stuff to do.
Yes, sir. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, man.
All right.
All right. Yeah, so that was Quaysie going to Maule, co-host of the show. He has to take off, so you'll be with me for the rest of the show. We do have a guest coming on. Speaking of that game last night with the mismatch against Lego My Flag, from Quaysie's team from Lego My Flag. So a little surprise. Stay tuned. Should be coming on in about half an hour, 45 minutes. So no worry. All right, so so let's go to co-ed right now, right? So obviously we started with co-ed, like I said last night, mismatch, losing 32 to 32 Lego My Flag. So again, a big win for Lego My Flag in that one. Let's take a quick look at the stats here. So Jeff Rosenblatt back from vacation, had 5 touchdown passes in that game. 3 of them went to Adam Malinoff. Adam Malinoff had a really good game, and he actually had to stay to play with his team a little later on. He got a little banged up in his other game. I'll get to that momentarily. On the other side, for the mismatch, again, Alex Zablitsky, 5 TD passes in that game. 3 went to Giovanni Antonacci, who had a monster performance, 7 catches, 64 yards, 3 TDs. Actually subbed for me later that night, so he had a pretty big effort in my win against the Hustlers last night that I talked about earlier. So like I said, Lego My Flag now they're 2-5 with that W. They take on Les Woos on Saturday, August 1st for the mismatch. Now they dropped to 2-6 with that loss. They're up next. It's going to be against Tea Party. So that's a big game this Friday, actually. This Friday in Laval. So against Tea Party, like I said. So that game's scheduled to start at 9:30. So a late one Friday night. Just looking at where mismatches in the standings. So again, they dropped to 2-6. They're in last, and Co-Ed one. Les Woos with a 5-2 record are in first. The Merge in second with a 5-3 record, and then Tea Party in third with a 4-2 record. Like I said, leg on my flag. Right now, they're stuck in fourth with a 2-5 record. Um, I had a chance to score keep. So again, just looking at the games that I did over the weekend here. So I did lay Woos actually. So they lay Woos and they took on the Merge this past Saturday at Concordia. Now let's be honest, Saturday was horrible. Kind of like it is outside now, but Saturday was a lot more rain. Maybe not as much wind, but a lot more rain. So it's Les Woos, a short-handed Les Woos, taking on the Merge again. Like I said, this past Saturday at Loyola. So when I got to the field, some of the Woo players still weren't there yet. So I know they had Philip Orcel, he was there. So he was playing on that team, and I know that Heidi O'Connor Lynch was there, and that was pretty much it, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of players that they had. I know they said they were waiting on some players. So usually they have Jordan and Alexi. They have a lot of guys. Victoria Bouchard was there as well, so my apologies to her. But usually this team, right, they have Yvonne Salama, they got Gucci, Jordan and Alexi, and none of those guys were showing up. I'm not sure how well in advance the rest of the players who were there knew about it, but yeah, so Marika Bouchard was there as well. So my apologies. So she was there as well. But yeah, there was no Jean Lee, no Jordan. So they were actually just trying to find guys to come out and play, right? So I found a buddy of mine, Kenny Batoulier, who plays with Michael Scott's Tots and co-ed. So he ended up playing for the team, pardon me, as did Riley Vaughn, right? Riley Vaughn plays in one of the lower divisions, so he ended up playing as well. So the game started off 6-on-5 for like I think the entire first half, or pretty close to the entire first half. And then they got Kenny Batuli in pretty much just before halftime. He came over and then he asked if he could play and ended up suiting up for them. But yeah, so anyways, like I said, it was a 33-20 win for the Merge. Now looking at their side, right? So most of the players they came on time. That always helps. Marc-Andre Reeves, right? 4 TDs in that contest. Mathieu Graton, he had a big game. So I feel like Mathieu Graton is one of the most underrated players in FPF. Yeah, he always plays with Marc-Andre Reeves for the most part. But this guy, I've been watching him a lot this season. Like, he just makes plays. He led all players with 2 touchdowns, 3 catches for 42 yards in the contest. And on defense, I mean, he led his team with 3 tackles. He's always one of those guys. He doesn't look physically imposing. He doesn't look like he's going to be able to run by you or to make plays in the open field, the tackles or pass deflections, but he's always around the ball. And that's an underrated quality in a player. So shout out to Mathieu Graton. Again, one of the driving forces behind his team in the victory. The defense got 2 sacks in that game. So Victor Boutin, usually a snapper who doesn't play that much defense. Sorry, he had a sack in the game. Marc-Andre Reeves had a sack. I came away impressed. They had Victor, so they had I think a couple of subs too. So there was Noemi Brunet Bolduc. She had 5 catches, 29 yards, and a touchdown, as did Victoria Grenier as well, 3 catches for 26 yards. So both those ladies made an impact as well. Obviously, Coralie Leduc, she had a touchdown as well for her team on the other side. So Philip Orcel, I think the fastest guy on the field. And I'm saying that even with Marc-Andre Reeves, Philip Orcel had a TD for his squad, as did Victoria Bouchard. And they got a pick six from Riley Vaughn. So Riley Vaughn filling in at quarterback instead of Gucci and instead of Jean Lee. And I know Jordan sometimes throws as well. I got to say, so Victoria Bouchard, I told you this during the game. Anytime someone on her team made a play, like she would just let out like this screech, like this super happy, joyous yell and this scream. So it made me laugh a couple of times. And I told her I'm going to mention that on the podcast. So there you go. So shout out to Victoria Bouchard. She ended up playing a couple of teams this year. I saw her play even as well this past Sunday. I ran into her Laval, like always a great smile on her face and always like there to support her teammates. And one of those players as well, who like every time I see her, looks like she gets better and better. And she's using her speed to become an impact player here in FPF. So shout out to her. Just looking at the upcoming schedule for this division here in Quad 1. Pardon me. So, like I said, we are technically right now in week 9 actually is done in this division. So let's recap what happened. Like I said, the merge with a 33-20 win over the Wolves. And like I said, obviously last night in Brassard, leg on my flag, beating the mismatch 32-30. Two other games took place almost this time last week, last Thursday to be exact, to kick off week 9. The Merge beating Lego My Flag actually 39-30 last Thursday outdoors in Laval. And also last Thursday we had Tea Party. So Tea Party laying down nearly a 60 burger. They put up 57 points in a 57-36 win over the Mismatch. So let's check out what Tea Party did here, at least stat wise, right? So Tea Party, led by Ben McMahon, obviously. Ben McMahon, phenomenal game, 7 of 20, 274 yards, and 7 touchdown passes. His good buddy partner in crime, Dante Girardi, 2 of 2, 40 yards, 1 TD. So they had two receivers. So Gigi, who Quaysie talked about earlier, 9 catches, 126 yards, and 3 tutties. Rory Submergent, 4 catches, 68 yards, 3 tutties as well. They also got touchdowns from the main man, Phil Roberts, and from Leah Bigra. So shout out to them, a really big effort. Defensively, they got a couple of interceptions as well, and they got a sack. So obviously, that team firing on all cylinders, being Tea Party. And like I said, right now, looking at the standings, that win improves them to 4-2. They're third, 2 points behind both Les Woos and the Merge. And Tea Party has 4 games remaining, whereas Les Woos have 3 and the Merge have 2, right? So Tea Party, they're in control of their own fate, right? With 4 games left, they have more than everybody else. They have a chance to finish first in the division. We'll have to see what happens, of course, playoff wise, right? Again, the top 3 seeds get a bye, so quarterfinals is going to be the 4 and 5 matchup, and then the lower seed off of that one faces the number 1 seed, and then it's going to be the second place team against the third place team. But of course, the playoffs are a couple of weeks away. Let's hop into some of the one of the lower divisions now. So I had a chance to do a Division E game last night. So let's the E2, I should say. Pardon me. Sorry. So let's hop into E2 a little bit here. And then we did some of the higher divisions already. We got to show some love to the lower divisions as well. That's just as important. So last Tuesday, I know I talked about Superbach beating Special Agents again. Superbach trying to sneak into the playoffs. So we move forward now to week 9, right? So Saturday we have Molson Import beating the Rosemary Rhino Pills 34-27. We had a showdown between Enter Team Name and Tops and Tops. So I had a chance to watch this game because it was being played on the field next to where I was scorekeeping on Saturday. So let's go to that game. So Enter Team Name, right? We look at the standings for E2 right now, right? So it's the same thing, right? Where it's the top 8 teams to get into the dance for the playoffs, right? So coming into last week, Enter Team Name, they had a 2-4-1 record, right? So they had 5 points. So they were on the outside of the playoffs looking in, but a good weekend for them, right? They knocked off Tops and Tops. So Tops and Tops, they at least heading into last week, they were up in the top 4 in the standings. So that loss dropped them all the way down to 6-2. So now they're actually in 5th place in the standings, tied actually for 4th with Illegal Aliens, but Top and Tops slide down to 5th, right? So Kenny Batoulia in that game, he's returned from injury the last couple of weeks now. He's been back. Phenomenal game. 15 of 22, 128 yards, 5 TD passes. 3 went to the main man, Zachary Albers Gill, and 2 of them went to Josh Vasquez, right? Vasquez, pardon me. So I had a chance actually, and actually, you know what? Player of the week. So Kenny Albers Gill had 3 TDs as a receiver, 7 catches, 69 yards. So 7 catches, 69 yards, 3 touchdowns. Solid outing. You put him in consideration for like receiver of the week or whatever. But then you look at his defensive effort. The man had 5 sacks in that game. So he's going to be on the player spotlight. I'm going to make sure that he'll be on the player spotlight for what he did this past weekend. Great game by him. But more importantly, right, his team gets the W. So they go from the outside, being on the outside looking in to now in the playoff seating, right? And for Enter Team Name there, it didn't end there. Enter Team Name here, my apologies. It didn't end there. That's what I was trying to say. They had a forfeit victory. So not a victory you really want, but hey, they all count. A forfeit victory over Flag Dealers who couldn't show up to the game this past Sunday in Laval. So what this does now to Enter Team Name here. So right now they're in 7th, right, with a 3-4-1 record. Now that forfeit victory, I don't believe has been added to their total yet. So I want to make sure. So Enter Team Name, They finished with uh Super Bach. Yeah, so yeah, that forfeit victory for some reason or another hasn't been added to the total. So instead of actually being 3-4-1, they should be 4-4-1. So 4-4-1, it's not a losing record, it's not a winning record, but again, uh so what that win would do is it would give them 9 points. So they would leapfrog the stables who are in sixth with a 4-3 record of 8 points. It would give Enter Team Name here 9 points. So it would put them in sixth place in its division. They would then be 3 points behind four different teams who are tied for second in flag dealers, most in import, illegal aliens, and tops and tops. So again, Enter Team Name, they have a victory. Like I said, just over tops and tops. They have a victory now over the flag dealers via forfeit, and they take on Superbox. Superbox right now is 3-5. They are in ninth spot. They are tied points wise with no porking around for the final playoff spot here in Division E2. In terms of points, they're also tied with Still and in Short, who have 6 points, and Vengeance, who have 6 points, as well as Roseman Rhino Pills, who have 6 points. Yeah, it's a lot of teams with 6 points. It is what it is. But right now, no porking around, has that eighth and final spot. But it's definitely not a sure thing right now that they're going to make the postseason. Sorry. So I want to look at the upcoming schedule this week for Division E2 because there's a lot of games and a lot of games that matter this coming week in this division, right? So um you have week 10 in this division is coming up. So you have Stables against the winless Robins, most in import, no poking around. So that's going to be no poking around. Most in import is going to be a big game. Tops and Tops against Superbach and Still and in Short against Special Agents. Now, again, that's coming up in week 10. The action will start Sunday and go all the way to next Tuesday. I will say, though, this rounding out week nine's action, right? So I talked a lot about Enter Team Name here. You had the Trailer Park Boys, pardon me, I score kept that game at Loyola. No, I didn't actually score keep that game against Vengeance. So I score kept Vengeance other game. I'll get to that after. Trailer Park Boys against Vengeance. Trailer Park Boys again. They're in first place. They're the top team in this division. They were struggling a bit though lately. They didn't really lose anything, but they didn't look that good either, right? They had that tie 34-34 against Enter Team Name here 2 weeks ago. So okay, you figure okay, that's one slip on the radar. But then you go forward, right, for this team again. They've been the cream of the crop, the class of this division. They're undefeated, and despite having a tie, they're still undefeated, right? They're 7-0-1. So they took on Vengeance. Vengeance is a scrappy team on the outside looking in. Trailer Park Boys with an 18-8 victory. I mean that's not that impressive for this Trailer Park Boys team. Antoine Mounier, 114 yards, 3 TDs, 2 INTs in the contest. They were up 12-8 at the half, and then they outscored their opponent 6-0 in the second half. So, I mean that's the Vengeance offense. A lot of good guys on this team on Vengeance. Vengeance, their main problem, unfortunately, is that um they complain a bit too much. I'll be honest with you, but it's not so much that I'm joking. Now, what it is honestly with Vengeance is they kind of fold under pressure a little bit. I'll be honest with you, and I'm friends with the quarterback Matthew Chadwick. I know a lot of cats. I know a couple of the cats on the team. Like Shaquem Hoyt's a good dude. Josh Curry as well. There is Jared Matthews as well, who I met the other day at Papino. I'll get to their other game that they lost on Monday night against the Flag Dealers momentarily. But they're a team like when you need a play, there's either a drop or an errant pass or a blown coverage or a call that they think should have went their way that doesn't, and they find a way to not get it done. Unfortunately, because it's a veteran squad and a bunch of good guys. And I honestly, earlier in the season, I thought they would make the dance. I thought they would get into the playoffs. Uh, Defensively, they held one of the top scoring teams to 18 points. It's just you only score eight. That's a problem. That's on them, right? They can't blame anybody for that. That's on them, but it happens. I mean, they had a chance to rebound as they took on Flag Divas, pardon me, this past Monday. It's a game I scored kept at Papino, right? And I thought, okay, this is a new week, it's a new game. Here we go. And yeah, it was just kind of a struggle. It was a 25-6 win for Flag Dealers over Vengeance, and there's a lot of the same. Vengeance would like take one step forward and two steps back. It'd be either an INT, it'd be misplaced ball, will be a drop, it would be a missed tackle in the open field that led to a touchdown. And it's just all these little things for these guys add up. And again, there's no quitting this team. Like guys like Jean Sebastian Rossi, been in the league for a long time. Good player, right? There's no quitting these guys, so I'll give them credit. It's just it's like they can't get out of their own way, and that's the problem, right? When you want to start winning, no matter what division you're in, you have to be able to not trip over yourself on the way to the finish line, and that's what Vengeance seems to do. Flag dealers took advantage of that, right? Roy Khalil completed only 11 passes, but he went 11 of 21, 136 yards, 4 TDs. Mark Haddad is his top receiver. Again, this guy should be playing in a higher division. I've been saying this for a couple of seasons now. I might actually have to get at him myself. 4 catches, 79 yards, and 3 TDs. He was just all over the field. He couldn't be stopped. Again, a big win for the flag dealers. Again, flag dealers as well, right? They come off of a forfeit loss, which sucks for them, and it sucks for the other team as well. And so they get this big win. They get back on track, and then they finish off the regular season against Molson Import. That's going to be next Friday in Laval. So a big game for the flag dealers coming up. And again, we look at the standings right here, right? Like we talked about the bottom end of the standings, but right now the team on top, like I said, is the 7-0-1 Trailer Park Boys. I score kept their game actually on also Monday night in Papineau Trailer. I know we're going on for Division E2. I apologize. When you're doing it by yourself, you got to find some things to talk about, right? So, Trailer Park Boys, they took on. So I had it here on my screen. It just came off. Trailer Park Boys, yeah. So they beat Vengeance, and yeah, they played the Robins. Yeah, okay. So they played the Robins on Monday instead of soccer. Robins again. I feel bad for these cats. These guys are 0-4 for the season, right? I think they're 0-9 right now. They're trying to get rid of that you don't want to have that 0-10 mark on your season, right? No one wants to have that. This was actually an entertaining game, despite the final score being what it was. The Robins honestly came out and they put on a decent show. But again, as I said earlier, right? You can't, on the way to the finish line, when you're trying to learn how to win, you can't trip over yourself. You can't trip over your own feet, right? And that's what the Robins did. The Robins would move the ball, but then they would throw an INT. Or they would move the ball, and then receivers would be open, but the quarterback would overthrow them, or he would underthrow and get batted away. And it's just like, it was just, there's promise in this team. I will say that. I came away saying to myself, they're not as bad as the record indicates. They have two guys. So this guy he's listed as Leonard Taylor. His name is not Leonard. He told me it's Keenan. So I'm gonna have to message the league about that. My apologies. I forgot to do it earlier on Tuesday. This guy's a big dude. 4 catches, 51 yards, only touchdown for the team. He can make some plays. And there's a big guy, the big man, Julian Pounder, number 0. This guy made a sweet one-handed INT going on the left sideline on a pass that clearly wasn't intended for him. He just reached off one hand and grabbed it in on one motion, turned around and started running. And this is a big dude with some wheels. This guy can definitely play. So again, there is some talent. Daniel Pelly as well. I can we kind of impress. Hunter Balloon. Like again, there's some talent on this team. I know the quarterback Brandon Namero. He's trying his best. He went 9 of 21, 130 yards, 1 TD, 4 INTs. Right, that's why they lost. He's fast though. He's going to be in something I'm going to talk about a little later. But fastest guy in lower divisions in FPF. Make sure to stay tuned for that. But it just he it's not that he can't do it all alone because he wasn't all alone, but he needs a bit more help. But he also needs to have some better ball placement. Again, I don't know how much quarterback experience he has in FPF. Hence, why I'm going to look at his profile right now. But he's a dude that, yeah, I'm looking at it here. He was a quarterback. Well, he played in the winter season. I have a couple of snaps here and there. And fall 2004 was his first kind of extended action. He played for Hard Knocks in Tier 4. He had 10 TD passes and 2 INTs. So not a lot of depth in terms of his experience as a quarterback. So he's a guy, I think with time he could be better. He just has to learn. He just has to have better accuracy and ball placement. I think that'll help him a lot in throwing with better structure because a lot of throws off of his back foot and across his bodies. Hence why he gets picked off a lot because this season so far he has 15 touchdown passes and 13 INTs, right? So it's not that great. That's kind of a recipe for disaster. But again, I think more reps will help this guy out. Okay, so that's it for Division E2. Again, we got to give some of the lower divisions some love as well. Let's go over to Women's C actually right here. So Women's C, looking at it right here, um, standings right now. So Obsidian, they're 8-1 right now. So I had a chance to work the Obsidian Valkyries game from this past Monday as well at Papino. So I worked that game. This was a really competitive game. It literally went down almost to the wire. Uh, it started off kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. It was 6-0 at halftime for Obsidian. I'm like, oh boy, it's gonna be one of those games. I hadn't seen Obsidian play. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had not seen them play this season. It's one of the very few teams I had a chance to play. But this team is deep. Obviously, they have a coach. It's a good. I believe they're either I think they're a college or a high school team. I'm not sure. I should have asked. My apologies. But I've seen their coach before. They're a well coached team, and they have depth. Like they have enough for a whole entire offense by itself, a whole entire defense. And if we have special teams, I think they have a couple players that can play there as well. This team is deep and they have speed. There's one thing you can't teach is speed, and this team has plenty of it. I will say so. I love the combination of jerseys, colors, right? So obviously, I like wearing black. I'm not wearing actually my shorts are black, but whatever. I like purple. Kind of a purple rain kind of Prince thing. No, I'm joking, but no. I like purple. I like black. I'm told I look good in purple. I think I look good in purple too. But not when they're on a jersey together. When you thank you, Ali Reza, I appreciate that. When you have black jerseys with dark purple numbering, it's a horrible, horrible, horrible. I'm gonna say it again. Horrible idea. I spent the entire game squinting to try and see who caught the ball or who threw the ball. And credit to the coach. I was asking the coach of some of the players almost after every single play, who caught that pass? And some, you see players for a while, and then okay, that's number 20 and that's number 15. But the problem with that is sometimes is when you have so many players like they do, and sometimes you're rotating players in and out every couple of plays, it's hard to keep track. And I'm not gonna lie, this is something I say when I call women's hockey games, women's basketball. Sometimes with the ponytails, right, it blocks the number, so I can't see the number, which is it is what it is, right? When you have long hair, it's more likely to block someone's number when the number is directly on your back. And so it's the same thing for flag football. Sometimes when I score keep games, if I don't know the player, I sometimes when you'll see me, I'll come onto the field while the play is going on to try to see the person's back, male or female. But I find obviously I have to do that a lot more with the males because of the long hair. It usually blocks the number. Again, when you have a team of like 13 to 15, I'll tell you right now how many players they had for that game. I feel like it was 20 players. I know it wasn't 20, but I feel like it was that many. They had, talking about a city in here, they had, at least on the roster, in terms of people that played, they had 12 players, but then there was a player coach who was there, and I think there was one or two, there was a cameraman, there was a coach, and I think there was maybe one or two other players who were there but not playing. Anyways, deep team, a lot of speed. I know Olivia Laperle, Evelyn Dion, Daphne Pigeon, they have some speed. I won't lie to you, the stats are not perfect. I try my best to get every single number. And I know the coach was really cool and he helped, but he has a job to do and I don't want to, he's like, yeah, come every play and ask. It's fine. I try to do it, but I can see he's busy trying to get the plays in and trying to direct what's going on. I don't want to bother the guy every single play. So I apologize to the ladies from Obsidian. I know there might be a couple of stats that might be off. But again, entertaining game. So again, 6-0 at the half, right? The Valkyries, so again, they scored nothing in the first half. They came back though with a vengeance in the second half. They made a switch, and this is a key switch. They went from Eliane Garneau, who started at quarterback. She plays for the Valkyries. She's number 4. She's petite. I've never seen her play before. And she was making some throws. She's fast. She can scramble around. She can make a lot of throws in that. I was like, okay, cool. And then so they have Melissa Millette. So friend of the show. She's a scorekeeper, someone who I consider friendly. She's good people. They made a switch at quarterback because at the half, Garneau went 8 of 20 for 67 yards and 1 INT. They put in Melissa Millette who went 9 of 16, 127 yards, 1 INT, but 2 touchdown passes, right? So she was just making plays. She's flinging the rock here, flinging the rock there. When Garneau stopped being a quarterback, she went to receiver. These are her stats: 6 catches, 102 yards and 2 touchdowns. So of course, me, some my buddy Owie, so Craig O'Brien and Jordan Millard, another buddy of mine, they were the referees, and we were saying to each other during the game, why did they wait so long to make the switch? Like it made no sense. And then Valkyries came back in the second half, right? They scored 13 points. Obsidian scored 18. The game kind of came down to a stop on fourth down. Maule had a receiver open. I think she was actually trying to hit either Hardy Garneau or Eliane Garneau, one of the other. No, sorry, it's Annabelle Broussard. I think she's trying to hit her on fourth down, and Maule kind of threw off her back foot. It was a one hopper to the receiver who was open at the goal line, but again, just a bad pass. I had a chance to talk to Melissa Maule last night in Broussard because she was playing with Special Agents. By the way, Special Agents, congrats on that W. So I want to go back to that in a second. But anyways, Malette, I asked her the same question. Why did you guys wait so long? She's like, I don't know. She's like, I asked that to the team. Because I think it was Heidi. She said kind of controls the lineup, or someone on the team kind of controls the lineup. And she's like, I asked her that as well. Why wasn't I playing quarterback earlier? And I told Millette, yeah, you should have been playing quarterback the whole game. And Eliane Garneau should have been playing receiver. You guys probably would have beat Obsidian. And she's like, yeah, I think so too. So hey, whatever. You win some, you lose some. Uh, for the Valkyries now, they move on. The record dropped after that game to 3-6. So they finish off with A Town Black. That's going to be coming up next Thursday. So they have basically 10 days being Les Valkyries there to kind of lick their wounds and get back on track. For Obsidian, with that win, I believe it's their third. For Obsidian, that was their seventh win in a row. So that's pretty impressive. They're 8-1 right now. So shout out to those ladies and that coaching staff for Obsidian. Their next game is in 2 weeks. So Saturday, August 8th, they take on the Rock to finish off the regular season here. Again, so Obsidian on top of the standings in first. Let's go through the standings. So Obsidian first, Run Like a Girl in second at 6-2, 5-2, A-Town Way. Like I said, the Valkyries 3-6 record. They're in fourth. Lioness in fifth with a 3-5 record. The Rock in sixth, sitting at 2-6, and A-Town Black sitting in seventh with a 1-6 record. Right. So we look at the playoff breakdown right here, and the playoffs will tell you that it is 6 out of the 7 teams make the playoffs. So obviously, right now it's a fight between the Rock and A-Town Black. Now, A-Town Black has one game in hand, right, to make the playoffs. So let's see head to head. I imagine they've played each other at this point of the season. A-Town Black and the Rock have played each other. Yeah, the Rock won 22-6 back in week 8. So they play each other actually this coming Sunday at Laval. So that's gonna be a big matchup, right? So if the Rock can get the season sweep, right, that's gonna be huge because it'll put them 4 points up on A-Town Black. And at that point, it won't really matter what A-Town Black does the rest of the season. But conversely, if A-Town Black gets the W, right, they'll be tied with points. And of course, if you're A-Town Black, right, you lost the first matchup, like I said, I believe it was 22-6, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Yeah, 22-6, right? So if you could beat the Rock in the rematch, that'd be huge. Ideally, if you could beat them by more points than they beat you by, that would also be a pretty big thing too, right? So again, that's gonna be a big matchup coming up. Like I said, this coming Sunday in Laval. Actually, it's going to be a 4 p.m. start, so try to make sure you tune into that one. The rest of the schedule this week for this division for Women's C, we have actually that's the only matchup. So a key matchup, the matchup of the week 10, A-Town Black taking on the Rock this coming Sunday in Laval. Like I said, 4 o'clock start for that one. Top the 5v5 for a minute, give 5v5 a little bit of love here. 5v5 intermediate. Sorry, my apologies. I got to be honest with you. The weather changed last night, and I feel like I'm getting. Actually, I don't feel like I'm getting. I don't feel like I'm getting sick. I am getting sick right now. Summertime colds suck. They really suck. I've been coughing, and my nose has been stuffed up all day. I mean, it's the summertime. Having AC, I don't always turn it on. I'm not a fan of the cold. I do love having it on when it's needed. But last night I got home from playing in Broussard. I got home about 12 o'clock, and I was like, yeah, it's not that warm outside. I cracked open the second window that I have, I was like, all right. Fell asleep with the window open as I always do because yeah, I like a little bit of cold breeze coming in here. And I woke up twice coughing and sneezing. So I'm like, yeah, this is not good. Chances are I probably got sick somewhere else, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. Hey, all that to say, summertime colds are not fun. Back to more important things. So week 10 is going to kick off this Saturday for intermediate. We have Poseidon's Kiss and Void at Loyola. Also at Loyola, we have Flag Avengers Coconut Games. So that should be a really, really entertaining game. And Xavier Couture against Marc-Andre Reeves. Poseidon's Kiss is then back in action the same day. So they have a game 4 hours later against Team YS. So that should actually be a really good game. We have Void and Flag Avengers also Saturday at Loyola. So back to back double dip for Void and for Flag Avengers and for Poseidon's Kiss. Sunday at Laval, Junkyard Dogs, JYD taking on the Void. So Void have 3 games over 2 days. Gotta love the schedule. Poseidon's Kiss is back in action against the Mighty Schmucks. So actually, that should be a good game too. I like the Mighty Schmucks. I like the speed they have and their physical team. I like watching them. So I'm not actually I might be scorekeeping that game. I'll find out if I'm working Monday in Papineau again. And then Team YS against Junkyard Dogs. That will be next Tuesday in Brassard. So I will be the scorekeeper for that game. So a lot of entertaining games coming up here in the 5v5 intermediate. Looking at the games that took place last week, like I said, Flag Avengers beat Only Flags on Saturday by a score of 18-13. Coconut Gang getting a big W, 41-32 over Poseidon's Kiss. Looking quickly at that game. Yeah, so Coconut Game, 5 TD passes, 281 yards from the main man, Marc-Andre Reeves. Besides gets a mixture of Austin Yazbek McDonald and Rocco Cristiano. My apologies. Those guys combined for 4 TDs. Actually, both guys played for my team last night as well. Shout out to them. I watched a little bit of this game because it was at Loyola when I was scorekeeping, but it was like a field or so away. So I was just trying to see little bits here and there. Stefano De Seta, so one of those lower division guys who's now starting to come up and play in higher divisions. He had a really good outing. 7 catches, 95 yards, and 3 TDs. But unfortunately for him, again, in a losing cause, is they fell 41-32 to Poseidon's Kiss. And then to wrap up week 9, we have Flag Avengers with a tight 27-26 win over JYD, the Junkyard Dogs. Looking at that one quickly here, Jason Rossi, 3 TDs, 2 INTs. Xavier Couture, 236 yards, pretty solid. 4 TDs, 1 INT for him in that matchup. I was looking at some of the big stats here. So Sanders, shout out to Sanders, three TD catches in that game. On the other side, Michael Couette, one of the good young players here in FPF, 10 catches on 10 targets, 107 yards, and he had a touchdown as well. Couture, good job, actually. So Couture completed 24, 34 passes in the game, but he completed passes to 7 different receivers. He caught a pass himself as well. So yeah, pretty solid outing for him. They got 2 INTs from Angel Olivares. So it's a pretty big outing defensively. And again, like I said, 27-26 victory for the Flag Avengers over the Junkyard Dogs. So big win for them. Actually, Kuwait got the game-winning TD late in the contest in that one. So like I said, yeah. So I went over a couple of games that I score kept. Just a couple others quickly before we get ready for our guest who's going to be coming on here in the next like 5 to 10 minutes. Um, I had a chance to do the sorority against Hebrew. So for those of you that don't know, Hebrew, I talked about them, I believe, last week or the week before on the podcast. This is a good team. They took on a sorority squad. Sorority also a good team as well. But yeah, this game it was pretty one sided. Hebrew, there should be no doubt about the fact that Hebrew are the best team in the women's B division. Let's call a spade here. They are 6-1. I think the only loss is to Wolfpack. Let me just double check that. I feel like it is. Yeah, the only loss of the season was to yeah, Wolfpack. Yeah, Wolfpack. Yeah, week 4, 26-7. I don't know. Since then, so that loss maybe was a wake up call. I don't know, but I'll tell you what. Since that loss all the way back in week 4, I'm going to tell you what they've done since then. The team has gone 3-0. So they have put up So I did a quick math here. 40. Yeah, they put up 40 points. I did the game where they scored 62. I can't believe they still dropped that many points. So they've scored 142 points since then. So 142 points since that 26 to 7 loss to Wolfpack. Again, that 7 points was the lowest point scored by them this season. So 142 points. That's pretty impressive no matter what division you're playing in. Their defense has been just as solid. They've given up a total of 25 points over 3 games. Yes, 25 points over 3 games. One of them was a shutout. We talked about last week, 62 to nothing, pardon me, over the Cavaliers. So let's look at that. 13 points divided by 3. They're giving up 16 points total if you divide it all up over the last 3 weeks, right? So that's pretty darn good. And again, like I said, they've scored 142 points. So let's do the math on that. 142 points. Whatever, they're averaging 47 points a game. So yeah, they're doing something right. Uh, so again, this game against the sorority, like I said, took place this past Monday at Stade de Soccer in Papineau. Both teams are going to do battle again this coming Saturday at Loyola. So I'm hoping for a bit better effort from the sorority. And it wasn't that this, pardon me, it wasn't that the sorority was horrible. It's just this is what's happening right here with Hebrew. Their their play calling and the plays are pulling off, I think, are spectacular. And I think a lot of the teams, I could be wrong, but this is just off of the last 2 games that I score kept them. A lot of the defenses seem shocked and surprised by what's happening. And I know talking to all the reps, because I like to talk to the reps when I'm working, a lot of them like I've never seen these plays before. And I've been in this league for a long time, part of media and playing. I've never seen some of these players that are calling before. I know we talk about Les Woos and we've seen the Party Crashers, they get really creative, the Braves as well. The stuff that the Hebrew is doing is on another level. So congrats to those ladies. They've been dominant. Anka Cool, who I've talked about now a couple of weeks in a row, could be the best female player right now in FPF, at least in Division B for sure. She threw a touchdown pass. She had 7 catches for 134 yards and 4 TDs in that contest, and she had 2 INTs as well. Eleanor Lacasse, very solid player. She had 5 catches and 50 yards, which is solid. She also had a pick six. The team also got INTs from Claire Couture. They got a sack from Laurence Gagnon. They're getting plays from everybody. Anyone that touches the field for the Hebrew team is making a play. They're all balling, as I said before when I was talking about Knicks. This team is serious. I think they should be in. If they known they would have been this good, they would have went to Women's Day as well. Not to say they'd be running the table almost, well, not running the table, but being as dominant as they are in Women's A, as they are in Women's B. But this is definitely a Women's A talent team with the talent and the coaching that they have. I don't know if they're coming back for the fall season. I know a lot of these ladies are obviously in school. We'll see what happens with that. But let's say they wait to the winter. Hopefully in the winter they'll be in women's one because yeah, it's they're making it look too easy right now. It is what it is, honestly, for women's B. And shout out to them. One thing I will say though is they kind of don't take their foot off the gas. I don't know. There's two schools of thought. Either will stop us and then that's how you get our foot off the gas, or have a little class. Like last week, it's 62-0. They're still going for 2 point conversions. Even in this game, you're going for 2 point conversions. Come on, have a little class. But it is what it is. Teams won't forget about that though, by the way. Just want to let you ladies know that, and your coach, obviously. Same thing. Yeah, so that'll wrap it up for all the women's divisions and the games that I score kept. Let's get to something quickly here before our guest comes on. I know she's scheduled to come on any minute now. In 7 minutes. Perfect. Thank you, Ali Reza. Um, so I know well, 2 things first. So first, the World Flag Series, obviously something that everyone's really excited about. Some players we drafted, 45 players, I believe, in all, drafted to different teams. It's going to be 3 teams. We have the Glitter Bomb, Ice Queens, and Hustle Every Rep. That's actually a really cool name. I like that. So the tournament is going to be, again, the first ever professional women's flag football event. It's going to be taking place, so that should be happening soon. Again, the WFS, the World Flag Series. Again, like I said, 3 teams, 45 players. We talked about last week, I believe Clara Baudouin is one of the players who was going to be taking part of that league, as well as I imagine a bunch of other ladies that are involved in FPF. So look out for that one. I know on our Facebook, our Instagram stories, pardon me, that's mentioned on there already. um, Fall registration has officially opened this week. So if you're thinking about playing in the fall, I know I was talking to some players from different teams in that who are talking about the fall. Yeah, when does it start? Go. Registration's open now. So get on there, FlagPlusFootball.com. Make sure you sign up your team or you sign yourself as an individual. I know some of the players are asking me as well, like, how do I sign? I don't have a team. Go to the Facebook page and put up your profile and be like, hey, I want to play. This is who I played with before. Or if you're coming from tackle, this is where I played. If you're new to FPF, what have you. So get on there, register on the Facebook page, or even on the FlagPlus Football itself, right? Register yourself as an individual and register your team. Again, the fall season, the fall registration is open. I believe the cap is going to be released pretty soon. For that, we have the tiers as well, right? I mean, it's always fun in the fall season. I know the fall is tricky for some players, right? If you're playing tackle, you're not going to have as many players. But again, if you want to get out there, you want to run, you want to have some fun, get out there and play in the fall season. Again, FlagPlusFootball.com. You get all the information that you need for that. It should be good. One thing we have here, actually, I'll get to that in a second because I know our guest is about to hop on here. Um, One thing I want to say, obviously, don't forget, right? This week is week number one of the construction holidays. I know it took me, I live about 15 minutes from Bassard, and it took me about almost an hour to get there yesterday. And I know some of the referees got there late, and a lot of players as well. So yeah, I see our guest is nodding her head as well. It's a pain in the butt right now, construction holiday. I still don't understand how the city, which is under construction seemingly everywhere on and off the island, goes on construction when we don't have construction in the winter. But hey, for all the people that are construction workers, obviously, congrats on the 2 weeks off. But again, plan accordingly, right? If you go into Laval, you go into Broussard, you go into Mary Vic, Connew, no matter where you're coming from, leave ahead of time because even if the field is near your house, it could take you a while to get there. So make sure you get there, leave as early as you can because construction holiday leads to a ton, and I mean a ton of traffic on and off the island. So make sure you plan ahead so you can get there early and not get into the game as it starts or after it starts in some cases. All right. So I think resident is ready. She's ready to go. Okay. Okay. All right. So we have a guest coming on here in about a couple of seconds once I finish yapping. It's someone who I've wanted to get on for a while. She's a phenomenal player. I know there's an article up on you on the FPF page. Went on, I believe, last year, or maybe year before. I can't remember. I apologize. I didn't read the article, so that's why I'm just saying. I know it was up there for sure because I remember reading it. She plays for Activated and Co-ed 5v5. Lego My Flag and Co-ed 1. Actually, I score kept her game last night. And Nick's, the team we talked about earlier in Women's A, and she's subbed on a couple other teams as well. None other than Lara Uzoka.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right. So big win last night for you and your crew. Like I covered the game earlier before you came on, but you guys had a big win for Lego My Flag last night. What are your impressions of the game? What led to you guys getting the victory?
We've been having a lot of trouble this season to win, and it's always tight games that we're losing, and it's honestly just stupid mistakes we're doing. We're in the end zone and we're suddenly just all dropping our balls, or it's honestly it's like stupid mistakes we've been making all season. It's been also hard with our roster hasn't been very consistent in the summer, like for most teams, so that didn't really help either. But we're trying to go one play at a time, and hopefully everyone makes it to playoffs. So hopefully we'll be locked in by then.
Okay, just looking at it again, 32-30, like I said earlier, over the mismatch. You had 4 catches, 42 yards in that contest, and you had 2 tackles, so obviously a solid game. I know at first you dropped a couple of passes that came in way early, but kept with it, and you started making some plays, right, to help your team get the W. Is it safe to say like I'm a bit like that too? Like I usually drop the first two passes that come my way, and it takes me a while to get in rhythm. Once I do, like I can catch whatever, I'm good. Is that a fair way to describe you, or describe your
Depends. If I
game?
don't warm up before, like those first balls are going to be dropped if I do not catch any in the beginning, which usually happens in co-ed because, everyone just comes like 5 minutes before. And then it does happen to me very often if I don't warm up before. But yeah.
Okay, okay. Again, like I said, a big win for you guys last night. So you're taking on Les Wolves. I talked about that earlier with Quaysie before he left. So your next game is you have a bye this coming week, week 11, Saturday, August 1st at Loyola. So chances are I might be scorekeeping that as well against Les Wolves. Looking at your matchups so far this season, you guys played them in week 4. They beat you guys by 1 point, 26-25. What did you learn about that game, and how can it help you guys in a rematch?
So I wasn't there for that game. I actually
Okay.
wasn't. But I do know some of the players that are there.
Mhm.
So I know they used to be like the old IG team a little bit. So I know we just have to catch our balls, get our first downs, not try to do some crazy plays on defense, communicate, and we'll be fine.
Okay. Switching to another team, right? So obviously you play with Knicks as well. So we talked about Women's A, Quaysie and I about half an hour ago, and obviously you guys right now are the queens of the division. Looking at some of the players on your team, right? Obviously, Athena Ryan, you have a connection with her. Some other people like Leticia and Galu, the Constance Millar. So you guys have a deep roster. What has been the key to success in your opinion so far for you ladies?
I would say chemistry. There's a lot of these girls that I've played with in the past, or that I still play with now. Before nationals, we did practice every week, so that did help a lot. Having a practice with coaches, we practice twice a week, so I think that makes a big difference. We don't have the biggest playbook either, so we have the same plays, so it's like we're running the same plays over and over again, so we'd like can perfect them. So I would say that's our biggest force for our offensive. And then defensively, we do have Pat as a really great coach. It's different coverage that most team are not used to seeing, so that does help us a lot to see different looks. So then when we get to FPF2, we see like some simpler looks, so it's a little bit easier for us. And then for them, when they play against other teams, like it makes it harder for the teams to score on us, I would say.
Okay. You guys, the only loss you ladies have on the season right now is week 8 against Purple Heat. You lost 27-23. That was back at Loyola.
Yeah.
Just looking at that game, obviously, right? You had pretty solid outing, 7 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown. You had a tackle on defense. What, in your opinion, was the reason why you guys didn't come out on top, and what did you learn from that defeat?
We did make some stupid mistakes during that game. We were also missing some players, which didn't really help us a lot. But yeah, it was just those little mistakes that made that difference, and the lack of communication, I would say, for our defense and on offensively. First half was we were driving, we're doing really well. Second half was a little harder. So yeah, I think that's what affected us most.
Okay. Okay. And switching to your last full time team you played with Activated. I wrote a column, I think on Sunday about you guys. Well, about your whole division, the co-ed 5v5. You guys lost to Airbuds in week 9, 36-20. And Brassard, your next game is against the IG team. So you talked about the IG team earlier. This is the real deal. The
Yeah.
IG team, you're taking them on next Tuesday in Brassard, so I'll be there for that game. What do you guys have to do to come out on top in that one?
We've been having trouble to finish our drives. We get our first downs, we get to the end zone, and then it just doesn't work out. We're still having a little bit of trouble reading the defense properly, getting the right calls, getting the right plays, and then offensively, not defensively, the other teams are doing some good plays. We just need some better adjustments. But we're there. We're getting there. We're still getting work on that chemistry. It's the first season I'm playing with them full time. I did sub with them last year, so it's my first season playing with Ben. So we're still getting to know each other offensively, but it's going pretty well. So yeah, just finishing and then communicating on defense is I think what's gonna help us the most.
Okay, okay. You can be honest. Ben's a jerk, right? Like he's a horrible quarterback and like a terrible person. Sorry.
No, not at all. He's great. It's fun playing with him.
Okay, okay. So you've been involved in FPF, right, since 2023, spring season 2023. You started off with BIT. I was trying to find out. So it's BIT is what it's listed as. What's the full name of the team?
I honestly don't remember what it was. I could not remember why we called ourselves that. But I think I played a season before that in the winter with in
Okay.
co-ed. That was my first time. And then I played in the spring with the women's. That was my first time. I can't remember. But it was a bunch of girls from my high school that we decided to play together in the spring for the first time. And yeah, that's how I started getting into FPF. Wanted to do something
Okay.
during the winter, first of all. So a bunch of me and my friends decided to just go into FPF because my Athena Ryan, my QB, she had played FPF in the past and said like, oh, like in the winter we have nothing to do, so let's just go into FPF. And then ever since I've been in FPF.
Okay. Actually, so you're right. Oh, to the story. You're right as well. Sorry, so my mistake. It's with Canical Winter
Canicule,
23.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Canical that came
Yeah.
in, but yeah. So in
Exactly.
03. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you then. So obviously since then, I'm looking at your bio, right? You play on a ton of teams, both full time and subbing for a ton of teams in FPF. How would you say you changed from the player who first stepped foot onto the field in 2023 to the player who's an all-star and one of the top females, period, in FPF right now?
So when I started playing flag, it was really more for fun with my friends. Like I wasn't taking that seriously. I was in co-ed 3 and then I think women's 2. And I didn't know the competition was that high in FPF. And FPF is the reason why I ended up coming back to flag because I wasn't playing flag anymore at school because of the school I was going to. They didn't have flag. And the fact that I was playing FPF made me want to continue. So that's when I went to Saint Laurent. And then ever since, I was able to get coached and meet new people. Until this day, I'm meeting new people in FPF. There's a lot of great people. I'm learning from a lot, especially in the co-ed, like the men's side. Like they're so supportive. They love to encourage us, help us. It's amazing. So I grew so much as a player because of them and the people I've walked my path through. And so yeah.
Okay, okay. And other teams that you've been on so far in your experience in FPF, who are some of your favorite teammates to play with?
Obviously Athena Ryan. I love to play with her. She's been my QB since high school, so I've have a big chemistry with her. Anouk and Maria. I love playing with them too. Love playing with Jeff. He's hilarious. I can name so many people, honestly. Jeff, Ben is great too. A bunch of people, like a bunch of my friends too, and I feel like I have a list, but there's
Okay.
no one I don't like playing with. Like everyone's great.
Okay, so the flip side of that, right, is I know you're competitive, right? It is what it is. Who's maybe like a team or a player, not to say that you hate, but a player who you think maybe brings out the best in you, or someone who you view maybe as a rival, perhaps.
Honestly, any girl on Team Canada, honestly. Right now they're not here in the spring, but like when I play in the fall, like in the women's, anytime I play against Sub Zero, Cayenne, that's where I feel like the best out of me is gonna come out because they're the best of the best. So I wanna see what I'm able to do against them, and yeah, so those would be my biggest competition, I would say, and who I like to play against the most.
Okay, okay. Do you think maybe right now that you should have a spot on Team Canada?
I don't know. I don't know. The Team Canada roster is awesome, great players. So I will not answer that question. I don't know.
Okay, okay. So maybe not 2028, but perhaps it's 2032, maybe something you're gunning for to
Well,
maybe be as
I
part of the
am. It
team.
is a goal of mine. I don't want to say that I deserve to be on Team Canada, but it is one of my goals to be on Team Canada. Yes.
Okay, and what do you think you do? What do you think you need to do to get there?
Get reps, practice against the best, continue playing. Obviously work out, keep my body in shape, and I'll get there eventually.
Okay. Okay. Um, so speaking of female players, obviously in FPF, right? And you played a lot of women's, you played a lot of co-ed. If you had to create, like, let's say you're making your own team right now. So let's say there's you and you want to get, let's say you're playing fives, right? So who would be on your team right now? Make Lara's ultimate team. Who would be on your team right now in FPF?
A women's team?
Yep.
Tina Ryan as my QB.
Mhm.
Um, Anouk would be on the team for sure. Our snapper, I would love to have Lara Molimar. Our other wide, it's a lot of great players. Someone tall, so I would go with Emma Racine. On defense, I would have Jessica Bossi. I don't really know how to say her last name. Jess as a rusher.
Bossy tapping. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Christavi as my corner. Christavi Fanfan who plays on Knicks with me. I would have Rosalie Landry, Sabrina Gervais. And then my last corner, I want to say Justine Côté. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you the same question now. Let's say you're creating your own co-ed team. Who
Okay.
would be on the team? Now, I'm gonna put this caveat. You can't pick. You can only pick two teammates that you're currently playing with. So if you want to pick, let's say Quaysie
Okay.
and Ben, that's fine. But you have to find some other players as well. Who would you put on your team if
Okay.
you're creating a co-ed team?
Oh, okay. That doesn't play with me.
Yeah, you can pick two players that do play with you right now, but you only two players you're allowed to pick to play with you.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm gonna go with fives. Co at 5v5. Jocelyn for sure. I have Jocelyn. Um, Ben as QB or Jocelyn. Yeah, they can both play everywhere. Those both of them. So Ben, Jocelyn. Um, so there's me. Like, ooh, for girls, who do I want in co-ed? Joyce. Joyce. I forgot her last name. She doesn't play in the
Genia?
co-ed 5v5, but she Joyce Janus. She plays in
Yeah,
co-ed
you
1.
played against her last night. Yeah,
I played against her yesterday.
she mossed Quaysie last night. We talked about that earlier in the
Yeah,
episode. She
she's
mossed
a
Quaysie for
she
the first
has
time
yeah
last
yeah
night.
she's a yeah Joyce for sure. A lot of people underestimate her, but she's a great player, great player. Joyce. I want to take Maya Fazo too. She can play anywhere. She's clutch player. Samuel Gucci. Samuel for his whole name, but Gucci I would take. Um, I don't know how many players I'm at right now. I think I'm still
You have
missing some.
about you have about five so far, I believe. Take two
Okay.
more. Take two more.
Two more. So I only took Ben. So I'm gonna take Anouk too, who does play with me. So I have my two players that play with me. So I'm gonna take Anouk. I think I'm gonna take one more girl. Or are there three girls? This is a hard question. Doesn't play with me. That's what's hard. That doesn't play with me. I'm gonna go with Emma. Emma
Okay.
Townsend. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I just want to make sure. So you're taking either Ben or Jean-Z as your quarterback, you said, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
I thought Athena was your girl. What's going on? Come on now.
She doesn't like co-ed. She's not a fan of co-ed, so I know she would not want to. She
All
doesn't play
right,
the
all
same in
right.
co-ed. I know her. She doesn't like co-ed anymore.
I'm messing with you, but all right, fair enough. That's your cop up. Fair enough, fair enough. Okay. So when I usually see you on the field, it's like you're having a good time. It's funny because before I've talked to you like once or twice before games, like you're always cool now, you're joking around. I think in games you get really kind of intense, and then kind of afterwards you're kind of cool after. Like,
Yeah.
where does that like intenseness come from for you?
Well, I like to win. I don't like to lose. Um, I like winning and having fun at the same time. Um, especially teams that we lose against is where I get more intense because I'm not losing a second time against you, and I feel like I play better when I'm more intense and when I bring my all. So I'm just a person like that. That when I'm on the field, like I try to be as locked in as possible, and I do everything I can that we can win. So yeah.
Okay. All right. How much fun personally are you having? Like, not just being a part of FPF, but playing a sport that you obviously care about and playing with friends. Like, how much fun are you having right now on the field?
Too much fun. I'm on the field every week. I'm practicing all the time. When I talk to my friends who don't play flag, like you're at flag again, and I'm like yes, and I'm happy about it. My mother too. She's always like, "Why are you always at flag?" It's because I like it. It's fun for me. It's like if I have anything going on in my life, I know if I have flag, I'm gonna be fine. It's like my safe zone. So yeah.
Okay. So obviously, I know a couple years ago there was an article put up on you on the FPF site talking about your athletic background. How does your background in athletics kind of help you when you're on the football field?
So as a gymnast, you have to be very explosive. We do have to be fast. So I think that's where my explosiveness, my speed comes from because of being a gymnast. It's also a very intense sport. It's very individual. So coming to a sport that it's a team sport and it's still intense has made it easier, I guess, with my gymnastics background because I did do gym for like 9 years. So that did help me a lot. I had to push myself a lot. You're kind of in your own bubble, so coming into flag where like you're not alone did make it easier to bring like that part of me that I already had and just like let people help me out and yeah, it's
Okay. In gymnastics, so you said you did it for 9 years. Why'd you stop?
injuries. It's very intense. 20 hours practice per week. It was a lot for me. Yeah.
Okay, like what was your favorite? So when again, someone who knows very little about gymnastics, like what was your favorite sport like to do?
Um, my favorite it was vault. So that's like the thing you run and like there's like a like it's called like most people call it the horse and then you like whatever on
Mhm.
it. Yeah, it was the vault. Vault and then the floor were my favorite.
Ah, okay, okay,
Yeah.
nice, nice. Okay, okay. Um, so obviously we're kind of at the home stretch of the regular season here in FPF. Playoffs are coming up. Looking at your bio, obviously you have two championships already, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay. How much would winning another championship this season mean to you on all your teams? Because right now you have a chance to win at least. You have a chance to win three at least. So, I mean, what would that mean to you personally?
I would be very happy, especially with Nick, since we did not win a nationals. At least winning something this year would be fun because especially in FA, it's still teams we did play in nationals, so it could be like a second chance of winning like nationals. I would say. I've never won in co-ed, so that would be great if I can win one co-ed this year. So yeah, it would be really fun if I can win my women's team and at least one of my co-ed teams.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Best of luck, obviously, as you try to do that. So getting away from sports now, so away from FPF, away from everything else. Who's Lara the person? Like, what do you like to do when you're not playing sports?
Um, I love to be with my friends a lot out of flag. A lot of them are my friends from flag, but I have a lot of friends from work because I do, but not anymore. But I do coach gymnastics, but now I'm a coordinator, so I do work a lot. School, honestly, I like going to school. I'm in athletic therapy, so that's very fun. Like to spend time with my mother and my sister. I love to travel. As this summer, I will not be traveling, but I love traveling. Just being out of Montreal, being with people I care about is something I love to do. So yeah, spending time with my close ones and work and school is me out of flag, pretty much.
Okay, okay. Where's your favorite place you've been to, and where's somewhere where you want to go that you haven't gone to yet?
I love Europe. I just love going to Europe. My favorite spot has been Spain. My Somewhere I really want to go is Hawaii.
Do it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice, nice. All right. Last question before I get you out of here. Again, like I said earlier, you're one of the top players, period, here in FPF. Pretty much every team you go to, you make better. You have some championships under your belt. What's left for you to accomplish besides just, I guess, having fun?
Team Canada. It's my goal. I want to compete against the best, be with the best, and know that I give it my all and that I can be at that level. I want to prove it to myself and to others that I can get to that level. And yeah, the Olympics would be amazing to say that I've been to Olympics, and yeah, that's my end goal.
Okay, I mean, listen, I've seen you play a bunch, and I think you're definitely deserving. I mean, keep on working hard, keep on doing what you need to do, and I think definitely 2032. I'd be shocked if you're not on that roster.
Thank you.
All right, so Lara, I just want to say thanks for taking the time to join us. I know that this has been a while in the making. We've been trying to connect and get this stuff for a while. So I appreciate you coming on and taking some time to talk to us here on the First and Goal podcast.
Thank you for having me.
All right, good luck. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. So that was Lara Uzoka. Again, fantastic person, phenomenal player, right? Here in FPF, like I said, unactivated, co-ed 5v5, co-ed 1, with Leg on My Flag, and Women's A with Nick. So she has a chance to win 3 championships. And I've seen her sub at a ton of other teams this year. So if you're a team that needs a sub, get at Lara. Great person, great player as well. Before we sign off here, I know. So last week we launched this initiative that I had looking at the fastest female player in FPF. I know the first round went through. So there's a bunch of players heading over to the second round in that. Sorry, just trying to find out the results here for for round two. They should be up on on the story, but okay, round two is not up yet. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so it's not up yet. No problem. Okay, so what I did do, so as last week, as I promised, right? We have a new poll coming up this week. It is for the male players in the lower divisions. Now, we talk obviously a lot about Division A, Division B, Division C, especially today, Division D1. I'm looking at players in the lower divisions. So for me, that's D2 and lower. So I want to find out who's the fastest male player in FPF's male division, D2 and lower. So I'm also going to count the players that play co-ed 3 and co-ed 4 in the kind of category in the voting as well, right? So we have a couple of polls up right now. Are they up already or they'll be up later? Okay, so we're filming this on a Wednesday, so by the time this episode comes up, the polls will be up. So you'll see the category. Okay, yeah, I said the results. All right. So you see the category in poll one, we have Phil Midori from Trailer Park Boys, Kyle Martell from Superbach, and my main man Mike Batty Babungi. Sorry, Mike Batty Babungi from Armed Robbery. He's played on my team a couple of times in the past. I should know how to pronounce it. I call him Mike B, but whatever. Anyways, so those three, Theo, Kyle, and Mike from Trailer Park Boys, Superbach, Armed Robbery in the first poll. Second poll, Jean-Christophe Morin Fineuf from Midtown, Jean-Philippe Lamotte from Sweet Bonanza and Oscar McCalvert, who was on the show a couple weeks back, from Cam Wings. That's poll number 2. So make sure you vote to see who's going to win those 2 polls. Polls number 3, from Perfect Timing, we have Justin Veilleux. From Zen O'Clock, Victor Desjardins. And from poll 3, my main man, Keon Cyrus from Junior XL. Poll 4, Gabriel Mercier from Sharknado, Hugo Lemoyne from Click de Chateau, and my man Jason Rossi from Junkyard Dog. So that's poll number 4. Poll number 5, Olivier MacDuff from Vicious and Delicious, Luca Ruel from Flag Me Daddy, and Maxime Baudouin from Laisse-moi le Flag. Poll number 6, Fabrice Pierre from Back That Pass Up, Xavier Chalouhi from Tops and Tops, Leo Auger from Too Fast Mon Ami. Poll 7, my main man, big victory last night with special agents. It's Rob White. So Rob Blanco, as we all call him. So he's in poll 7 with Médéric Morin from Only Flags and Gabriel Laperle from Flamingos. The final poll we have here, poll 8, is going to be from Vodka Red Bull, pardon me, Alessandro Daniel. Shout out to him and his pops. Both play in the league. Josh Curry from Vengeance and Jordan Lee from PSTM. So there you have it. 8 different polls. Each poll, like same thing we did with the ladies, has 3 players, so that means 8 times 3, 24. Quick math for you right there. Make sure to go out and vote. Interested to see who's going to win, or who's in advance, I should say, to the second round for the fastest male player in FPF in Division D2 or lower. Don't worry, all you guys in the higher divisions, we will have a higher division poll as well. So that'll be pretty much Division D1 and up. Obviously, you have the 5v5 competitive players who will be mixed in there as well. So 5v5 intermediate too. So yeah, we're gonna have that one for you. The first poll for that one will be next week on next week's podcast. We'll reveal the names for you, so you guys can go out and vote. We'll have obviously the results too from the round 2 from the ladies poll as well. So hopefully, thank you to all those who have voted so far. I know on last week's show we talked about some of the ladies and some of the players, I should say, in general, who came out and voted for the ladies. So let's make sure now we turn out and vote for the fellas as well. I think that pretty much wraps it up. I apologize. This week we don't have the player spotlight ready for this week yet. There's going to be a couple of names that we have. They're going to be added on to this week's poll. So we'll review that and next week's poll all together in one in our next episode. Again, the weather today looks like it's about to rain. I don't know. It's not that great outside. I feel like I have to wear pants and maybe a jacket, which in the summertime should not be the case. That was the case this last Saturday when I was scorekeeping at Concordia. I was not a fan of that. Neither were several players that I talked to. But it is what it is. It's Mother Nature. Get out there, enjoy the summer when the weather's better. So I went to Just for Laughs, went to the cultural show last week. It was awesome. A couple other shows. I know there's like a Weird Al Yankovic show this Saturday. I'm gonna probably go check that one out too. And I don't know if you guys are watching The Odyssey. Big movie came out this past Friday. I'm gonna go see it this coming weekend. Looking forward to that. Ali Reza, anything going on for you? All right. Ali Reza is gonna sit at home and wait on LeBron James' decision to see where he's gonna sign, because that's what he loves to do, because he loves LeBron James. Lakers fan number 1. Ali. Yeah. Say that. All right, nice. Yep, big win by Spain. Yeah, huge. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, huge win. Again, I'm not surprised. Again, they let him 1 goal in 8 games, right? They were fantastic, and I watched that game pretty much from beginning to end. Fantastic finish. I mean, the thuggish behavior of those Argentine players, definitely sore losers, and obviously a lot of other issues, racial issues that go on with some guys on the team and Argentina as a whole. Shouldn't distract away from what was a fantastic tournament. I'm not the biggest soccer fan, honestly. I'm not. I follow the Premier League a little bit the last couple of years. I'm getting into it. But I will say, from the beginning to the end of the World Cup, I was glued to the TV a lot, especially after the group stage. I was really having a good time watching the games. I went out with friends a couple of times for a couple of drinks and some food, and just watched the games and that. Proud of Team Canada. I'm proud of all the African nations, obviously. And again, shout out to Spain, man. They were just dominant. By third place game was fantastic too, right? England against against France. So Kenny Batoulier, who I talked about earlier from Metro Team Name here, he and I, we went out to a comedy show with some other, well, his girlfriend, my girlfriend, and some other friends. We went out to a comedy show, but before the show started, it was at Club Soda. We were watching the third place game. Fantastic 6-4 win for England. That was my pick for the World Cup. It is what it is. I did pick in the pool that I was in. I picked Mbappe to win the Golden Pool, so I'm happy he won that. Although I did pick France to win it in the pool that I was in, because I figured, got a bit on a smart team here, but didn't work out. But either way, still a great World Cup, and 4 years isn't that far away. Will we see Messi again? I know right now the sentiment is no, but if someone could do it in his 40s, it would be him, right? I think same thing for Ronaldo too. He says this is last, but I mean, if he's willing to take a bench role, maybe he'll come back. We'll see. Anyways, great World Cup. Super happy I got to watch the ending and the whole tournament. And I'm not gonna lie, it did get me a bit more into soccer. So when people aren't acting like they're getting sniped, out of the crowd, then I respect it. When diving and acting like there's a sniper somewhere and just rolling around after barely getting touched. I'm not a fan of that, but soccer, when it's played as it should be, still entertaining. It's sports, right? You can't go wrong. All right. That'll do it. Shout out as always to you, Ali, for doing what you do. Always making sure everything's running smoothly here. Quaysie as well. Quaysie obviously had to take off a little early. Big thanks to our special guest, Lara Uzoka, who came out. Again, it was about a month and a half in the making, but we finally got her on here. So pretty fun time with her. Thanks to you guys obviously at home, right, for tuning in. We would not be here without you guys, so keep on tuning in, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell a friend, tell a family member, tell a pet, I don't know, tell somebody. It's good times. I'm Brent Bodkin. See you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.